What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Josh. This is Overlanding Now, and today what I want to talk about are the 7 things that I hate about the 2021 Jeep Gladiator. Stay tuned. Now, when I say hate is definitely a strong word, but I can tell you for certain that I dislike them very much. Now, if you're new to the channel and you just stopping by, I appreciate you. If you would like to subscribe to the channel so you can come along for the adventures, at any point, hit the like button, trick YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, leave a comment, because some of this stuff, I do understand that I'm probably being a little bit nitpicky, but in my opinion, when you spend this kind of money for a vehicle, you should probably get what most vehicles get when you spend this kind of money. So, all that being said, let's hop right into the first thing that I truly dislike about the Jeep Gladiator. Number 1 is the V6 motor. I have a Jeep JL, and then we bought a Gladiator. I knew when I was purchasing the Gladiator, I was going to receive the same exact V6 that's in the JL, and it was going to be in the Gladiator, and I was also getting the same exact transmission. The issue is, you are supposed to be able to do a lot more work with the Gladiator, whether that's towing, more of a payload, a higher gross vehicle weight rating, all of these things, but the thing that did not change was the motor. Now, I'm not expecting my Jeep to fly down the street at 150 miles an hour, unless I get a Hemi, which it's on the list, but we will talk about that another day. But at the same time, if I'm going to be towing, or there's things that I'm going to be doing where I'm going to have a load, that V6 is a dog. And that's just what it is. It's a dog in the JL, and it's a dog in the Gladiator. Nothing changes. So it's just something to keep in mind. I am very unhappy with how the motor performs under load. And that's something that I got to take up with someone else, because you probably don't really care that much. Or maybe you do. If you're buying a Gladiator, this is probably important. But the V6 is not something that I feel comfortable towing a large load with whatsoever. And quite honestly, getting on the highway and trying to get up to speed, it's just brutal. But there are so many great things about the Gladiator that I am willing to kind of just deal with the fact that I'm not going fast and I'm not getting anywhere in a hurry. Now, the second thing is kind of what I hinted to as the first thing. It's towing capability. Now, as you know, we do have the, maybe you don't know, but we have the Geo Pro, which is roughly 3,500 pounds. It's a small camper. We also have a Supra SA550, which is a 6,500 pound wakeboard boat. And quite honestly, towing that Geo Pro, which is 3,500 pounds, it makes this vehicle work way too hard. Now, if we start talking about towing a 6,500 pound boat, I just don't think it would do it safely in any capacity. So if you're thinking about getting this vehicle for towing, just be prepared for the worst gas mileage of all time, your motor running in 6th, maybe 7th gear on the highway at all times, and realistically just an extremely loud noise inside the Jeep while you're driving down the highway. If that doesn't bother you and none of those things are a concern to you whatsoever, the Jeep Gladiator is for you. The third thing that I hate about the Jeep Gladiator is that there is no factory electronic trailer brake. So if you're not familiar with towing, all trucks, every truck, especially a truck that costs this much money, comes with either a tow haul button, which is something entirely different than the electronic trailer brake, or an electronic trailer brake. Now, you can get an electronic trailer brake as an option, but there should be no option for that. If you're towing 7,500 pounds or capable of towing that type of weight, you are relying fully on your vehicle and the vehicle's brakes to stop you, the truck, and the trailer. Now, if you're loaded down with a bunch of overland gear and you're towing something, you are relying solely on your vehicle's brakes to slow your vehicle down. I think that is A, extremely unsafe, and B, just kind of stupid. So what we did is we purchased an aftermarket electronic trailer brake. It was extremely inexpensive and super easy to install, and it gives us the ability to apply pressure to the brakes of the trailer that we're towing while we're towing. So that's something that I just will never be able to wrap my mind around, why they would sell a truck this expensive without that being a standard feature. One, for safety, and then two, just for wear and tear on the vehicle itself. Now this one, number 3, might be a little bit nitpicky, but it goes in line with the fact that this vehicle MSRPs for $60-ish thousand, and the rear window in the Jeep is manual. It's not electric. So when you want to open that rear window, you got to reach back there all crazy and try to open the window, as opposed to just having a button. All the other windows are power, obviously, but the rear window is not power. I think that's silly. I think it's just Jeep being really cheap, but charging us a lot of money for these vehicles. Don't get me wrong, I love my Gladiator, I do, but I just think that is something, it's a small thing, but why not just give me a power window? I don't know. Talk to Jeep about that one. Now the number 4 thing that I hate about the Jeep Gladiator is the same thing I hate about, I point over here because the JL's sitting over here, is the on-road drivability. Now the on-road drivability gives you greater, and in my opinion, the absolute best off-road drivability. But the on-road drivability of these vehicles is terrible. You wander all over the road, you really never feel like you're in control, you're kind of just cruising down the road, who knows what's going on, it's doing its own thing, but that's just a Jeep. But I feel like there's got to be a way to make that better. I know I do want a solid front axle, I want a solid rear axle, I want all of the things that the Jeep comes with, but if there's just a way that I could just get a better on-road experience, because quite honestly, if you think most of our time is spent on the road, we only buy these vehicles, which is freaking silly, because how capable they are off-road. If anybody just buys a Jeep just because they love a Jeep and they drive it on the road all day long, they're crazy, because they're not comfortable, they're loud, they're hard to drive. So I know we sacrifice things, but I feel like it's 2021. There's got to be a way to make that on-road drivability just a better experience. Number 6. Gotta check my notes on this one, because I forget what number 6 was, because my dog's barking outside. Oh, yeah. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if they're the exact same size, but I feel like the rear seat in the Gladiator is much smaller than the rear seat in the JL. Once again, I understand I'm not buying a full-size pickup truck, but I feel like that back seat area is much smaller. We have to put the baby seat in the middle of the Gladiator, because otherwise you would literally be chewing on the steering wheel, or the passenger would be chewing on the dashboard. So in order for us to make it comfortable, we have to put that baby seat in the center of the Gladiator, which really makes it awkward for Cohen when he's in one side or the other. So it's kind of a pain, but I just feel like it's extremely small, and I think the JL is bigger. Maybe it just feels bigger, but from what I can tell, it seems like the Gladiator has a much smaller rear area, and I feel like if they just gave you 3 more inches, just 3 more inches, we'd be in great shape. Like the Rams. The Rams have that big back section that's huge. It makes, you can recline the seats, and once again, I understand this isn't a full-size truck, but if you can do it there, you can do it here. And it's those little things that are going to keep people away from the Gladiator platform, because if they're used to a big full-size truck and they're going to downsize to a smaller, more capable off-road vehicle, then they're going to be sacrificing a lot. So it's something to keep in mind. If you're looking to purchase one of these, your back seat is entirely small. I don't know if that's right, but if you have a big family, or you have 4 people in your family and you travel with a couple of dogs, just know whoever's in the back seat going to be a bit uncomfortable. The number 7 reason that I hate the Jeep Gladiator, even though I still love it with all my heart, is not having tow haul. Now, I mentioned that earlier when we were talking about the trailer brake. Now, what tow haul typically does is it's a mode or a setting in your vehicle. It's just a button. On my Ford, it's on the end of the gear shifter. And what it does is it changes the way your motor slows down and speeds up. It adjusts the gear ratio from my understanding. Now that tow haul button, when you turn that on when you're towing, it'll give your motor will give you a little bit more pushback when you're slowing down. It'll just help you brake a little bit more. And there are no tow haul options inside the Gladiator whatsoever. There's no button. And if there is a button, leave a comment because I don't know where it's at and I would love to know where it's at. So once again, when we talk about these trucks being capable of towing 7,500 pounds, but you don't have a tow haul button. Now, let me read this to you. Oh crap. Jeep says, the software senses the loading and closely approximates what the tow haul mode would do. That sounds great, but just give me the button. I'll take care of it. I'll press it. It'll be done. I'll be able to trailer my whatever, wherever I want to do it, and I know that tow haul's on. You just telling me it's going to closely approximate what tow haul would be, it's just not enough. So that's it. That is the 7 things that I hate about the Jeep Gladiator. If you agree with any of those, leave me a comment. If you disagree with them, leave me a comment. I would love to know what you think, or some things that you have found that disgust you about the Jeep Gladiator. But until next time, we appreciate you guys watching. Subscribe to the channel so you can come along for the adventures, and we'll see you on the next one.